Well, it's one of those games, video games based on movies, and here we got is Toy Story, which was released on the same day the movie came out in theaters, but this one came out second. So why don't we check it out and see how it goes.
Anybody remembers the Toy Story Theo game? Well, I haven't, until I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, so here we have is the menu, right there. So if you press help, it'll show what the icons look like. And when you go to the option setting, you can adjust the controls, add how many tries you can do from 1 to 5. 5 lives gives you the easiest, while only 1 gives you the hardest. And the storyline means you have the ability to either enable or disable the cutscenes. So at the start of every level, you are given some details on the level. Okay, so this is a side-scroller game, and you have 5 hit points, so every time you get hit, you lose 1 hit point. And the only weapon Woody can use is his whip. But did I forget to mention that there is stars in the game? Yeah, there is stars in the game. And if you finish a level by collecting all 50 stars, you are rewarded an extra life. It also has continues, which you can get if you're doing good enough, at least. The next level is where you have to put all the toys away where they belong before Andy gets here. And you are given 180 seconds to finish this level. But Woody's whip can also not only hit enemies, but can also knock down other stuff like blocks. There is some levels where it doesn't go through a side scroller. Like take this level for example. That's a level where you have to control RC. And it also has a battery meter. And once it's empty, you lose a life. And if you need it refilled, you gotta find the battery, right here. But the controls can get unresponsive at times. Since you have to control RC, I mean, come on, he's only in 2 levels in the game, so what's the big deal? This next level is the one where you have to save one of the aliens. And it's a first-person type, but only difference is that he doesn't bring a gun in this game. Yeah, he doesn't bring in a gun. But what's the big deal? The designs look great. But right after you capture a green alien, you gotta go all the way back to the entrance for it to count. And you can't carry more than 1 alien at a time. And you're given 140 seconds to complete this level. Another level is where Woody can ride on Rex, and a skateboarder with a man attached in Sid's house. But watch out for Spud. Here's another level where Woody has to race against Buzz. Yeah, he's not really racing as he's just like bouncing in different objects. It does have some checkpoints in the level, mostly some hard ones. But enough said. Buzz is trying to distract you. What you'll also notice on top of there is those hooks so Woody can ride on by using his whip. Now what is he doing? Swimming in air? And for some reason, Woody doesn't lose a life if he hits the ground. The game can get frustrating at times. Like this one is an example. But right when you hit those 2 to get out of the way, you'll notice there's 2 platformers there, which I somehow jumped and it sent me all the way down, and I gotta try this again. But I somehow had to wait before it moves on the first one. But the second one looks like a turn off switch. I mean really, this is a hard part in this level. The game does have boss levels, but here's an interesting one in this one, where you have to stop the claw from grabbing Buzz. And you gotta use your whip to get the alien to hit the claw. But if you don't hit the claw when Buzz leaves the screen, you lose a life and you gotta do it all over again. You'll get hit by enemies more, whether there's more on the screen. And while there is sheriff icons which you can get, but it only regains 1 hit point. But that's not all. You also have to avoid obstacles like traps in order to keep your hit points straight. And that includes in harder levels. Now here's an error I found. Take a look. You see that? I somehow hit the ground but fell in. Yep, that is one weird glitch I found. But despite those negative flaws, there are some redeemable ones to this game. Like, the art designs are very well done, and some 3D aspects are also really good. And while the game can get difficult at times, it can still be enjoyable. And I'm sure Disney fans will definitely recommend this game. Especially when you grab your whip and start swinging through stuff and running around through shelves. Now that is toy action. Oh yeah, and that sheriff can also grab onto ropes. Don't let the sharks eat you, they're bad. Buzz, what are you doing here? Oh, here's another cool one. Woody can use Buzz's chop to push back enemies. Yeah, he can't attack it, just pushing them away, that is. Like, keep chopping! Keep chopping! Those monsters are trying to get you, so keep chopping! They're like hideous creatures. Well, that was fun, but there's more than that. There's a level where Woody is moving while he's inside an empty soda cup. But you must watch out for food that falls. Cause you know how toys can get messy if you leave them food lying around. And I wonder why there's burgers, hot dogs, and french fries in Pizza Planet. I mean, come on, they only serve pizza. Like, what is this? McDonald's or Chuck E. Cheese's? Or funny yet, Chucky Donald's. And there's a vending machine that slides out soda cans. Buzz can even hurt you if you're not moving. Instead, bumps to you. And watch out for kids too. And if you think that level was weird, take a look at this one real quick. I keep making Woody whip into that hook several times. Like, I had to make him land on the platform correctly. Like, right onto the shelf, that is. But besides the claw machine, Buzz actually gets 2 boss levels. One where he's Nightmare Buzz, and the other one in the gas station. But you gotta use the tire for him to count. Like, you just gotta get him stuck in there.
And beyond, to infinity and beyond.
And he can also shoot out stars for you to collect. But in the level Nightmare Buzz, he somehow has a shield and can teleport. Only way to lose a shield is if you hit his shield, and then use your whip on him.
Here it comes.
And right after you defeat him, you are rewarded with stars. Yep, gotta collect them. Well, that's the basics to it, as well as the positive and negative flaws to it. But there is a really cool cheat code that some players have noticed. If you walk over to the dresser with the army barrel on top and jump into the first open drawer, you will notice that your star hits counter will start to flash and spin. And do the same thing when holding down on the army barrel. But just wait until at least 10 movements from the lid. Right after 10 movements, pause the game and press select. The last level is perhaps to be the hardest out of all the others, where you have to duck through cars, trees, and traffic lights. But if you somehow get hit, it's one hit death, and you gotta do it all over again. But if you do manage to survive all through those, you'll notice the pickup truck appearing in, and you gotta stay up until it gets through this corner. Yep, you gotta go all the way down.
Watch out.
But if you don't, you gotta do it all over again. But finally, you get through the car that Andy is in. I wonder why there's a star over there. I mean, it's the last level in the game, so what's the point? Well done, you have completed Toy Story. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for playing.
Toy Story was not only released for the Super NES, but also the Genesis, PC, and Game Boy. And while these versions are pretty much the same, the Genesis and PC versions only had one level that wasn't in the Super NES version. Though the PC version did have a few issues like the controls and sound, but had an awesome soundtrack to it. But is this going back in the toy box? No way. This game is great.